I used to say, and in fact, I think I said in my first book that, and maybe this was foolish, but I really meant it, that someday I'd like to maybe lose everything for a period of time to see who's loyal and who's not loyal. And frankly, I found out a lot of
Did
things
you
about
find out who's
loyalty.
loyal and
No,
not
I tell you
loyal?
what, and you can't guess it. You can't predict it. You think certain people would be loyal no matter what, and it turns out that they're not. And you just can't predict it. It's very difficult.
Welcome to the Bill Mason Show. How you doing, Bill?
I was doing okay before I realized that I think this country has fallen completely on its face.
Yes, the communist, socialist, Democrats have won.
Yeah, we as the people have exhausted every single legal, constitutional outlet that we possibly had, only to be refused on every level. So here we are,
Yeah.
Boogaloo.
Yeah, so it was, I mean, just let everybody know, me and Bill was not there at the Capitol. We wish we were, actually, but we weren't there, unfortunately. So and it looks like Antifa. 4 buses came in, Antifa with "Make America Great Again" hats on, and they with helmets and all kind of stuff, and they instigated a crowd to go into the Capitol. Looks like.
And honestly, I've been to 4 Trump events. I won't call them all rallies. So some of them were before he got elected, and some of them were post. But I can tell you this: Trump people don't wear knee pads, elbow pads, and helmets. Okay, they do not come to these things prepared to be smashed in the head with stuff.
Right.
And that is one of the big indicators that some of these people, the spectators, noticed that they were like, hey, wait a minute, why do all these guys have helmets with like a Trump sticker on the back or something like that? Like, it's their same MO, only they're pretending to be Trump people. And it's like no one was falling for it except for CNN. Of course, they were going to air it ad nauseum and be like, look at these guys, it's all Trump guys.
Right.
What a joke.
Yeah, of course they don't. CNN, was crying because all these protesters were everywhere, and then of course they don't cry about the BLM, the Antifa protests. They don't care about that.
That was all justified because that was for civil injustice. That's why it was justified. The democracy and the Constitution are allowed to die at any moment. It doesn't matter.
Who cares about election fraud or whatever like that?
Who cares?
Yeah.
Get over it, everybody. America, get over it. Go back to your jobs. Don't worry that it was stolen. Just ignore it.
We just want unity now.
Oh, unity is important because Biden wants to bond with us now.
Yeah.
All the 79 million Trump supporters, Biden wants to bond with us now as he takes our guns and our magazines and he raises our taxes. Get bent, Joe.
He didn't want to bond with us 6 months ago, but now he wants to bond with us.
No, exactly. And the funniest thing about Joe Biden is that even after all of this, they propped him up and they sent him out, and he's like, "Oh man, these protesters, that was above and beyond. It was uncalled for." All summer long, I watched BLM burn cities. Nothing from Biden, nothing from Harris, nothing from any Democrat. What a joke!
We showed videos after videos of them encouraging it
constantly, and then
Get out
asking
there
for more.
Kick him in the balls, kick him in the shin.
And when you see people, you confront them. You get in their face. That was Maxine Waters, know. And Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, was saying, "I don't know why there won't be unrest in the street. Or maybe there will be. Who knows?"
Right.
Wink, wink.
Eric Holder, kick them while they're down.
What a joke. We've all watched it, and I think that's some of the unrest that we've watched in DC is that people like us are tired of you pissing on us and telling us it's raining. We know we're being pissed on right now. It's there's no other way to describe it. This is the democracy that we know and love, and literally the constitutional way to do things is gone.
Right.
And we watched it happen.
Yeah, we're going to show you tonight about all the things that happened. We're going to talk about, we have pictures of Antifa people there. We're going to show them before and after when they were there. We're going to show you what's going on with, they're removing everybody off Twitter, Facebook. All the Trump family are going to be removed off social media completely. We're probably going to be removed too. We were banned for 2 weeks, by the way, folks. So
we're fresh out of jail, probably going to get thrown back in for
right
talking
after
about
this
an
video,
election.
we'll probably get thrown back in jail again, another strike.
Yeah.
And I'll be talking about what happened. So who knows what's going to happen. So let's take a look at Trump. Trump just did a speech just 30 minutes ago, actually. Let's take a look and see what he said, okay?
Mhm.
I would like to begin by addressing the heinous attack on the United States Capitol. Like all Americans, I am outraged by the violence, lawlessness, and mayhem. I immediately deployed the National Guard and federal law enforcement to secure the building and expel the intruders. America is and must always be a nation of law and order. The demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defiled the seat of American democracy. To those who engaged in the acts of violence and destruction, you do not represent our country. And to those who broke the law, you will pay. We have just been through an intense election and emotions are high, but now tempers must be cooled and calm restored. We must get on with the business of America. My campaign vigorously pursued every legal avenue to contest the election results. My only goal was to ensure the integrity of the vote. In so doing, I was fighting to defend American democracy. I continue to strongly believe that we must reform our election laws to verify the identity and eligibility of all voters and to ensure faith and confidence in all future elections. Now Congress has certified the results. A new administration will be inaugurated on January 20th. My focus now turns to ensuring a smooth, orderly, and seamless transition of power. This moment calls for healing and reconciliation. 2020 has been a challenging time for our people. A menacing pandemic has upended the lives of our citizens, isolated millions in their homes, damaged our economy, and claimed countless lives. Defeating this pandemic and rebuilding the greatest economy on earth will require all of us working together. It will require a renewed emphasis on the civic values of patriotism, faith, charity, community, and family. We must revitalize the sacred bonds of love and loyalty that bind us together as one national family. To the citizens of our country, serving as your president has been the honor of my lifetime. And to all of my wonderful supporters, I know you are disappointed, but I also want you to know that our incredible journey is only just beginning. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
All right, so there we are. So that's the concession speech, pretty much.
If you can call it that, like even what's embedded in there is literally him telling us, like, I really did, I tried to beat the swamp, you guys tried to beat the swamp, it's still an ongoing battle, but it's not easy. And he's kind of, I mean, I've heard inklings of what he's going to do post his presidency. There are all kind of rumors, everything from a TV thing to a company or whatever. But here's the thing, I mean, we all tried, and what we saw in DC was about what is going to happen post Trump. Like, I think the reality setting in that we know that, okay, well, Trump is gone, we still have a freedom issue in this country. Like, that we're not going to forget that. Like, you can't tell us what we saw. We all know what we witnessed. We all saw the video. We all heard the transcriptions. We all read the affidavits of people that said there was fraud. So there's no way to tell the American people that everything's fine, here's Biden. That's not going to happen.
Right. Well, they're not going to be able to kill the movement. They're trying to kill the man that made the movement.
Yep.
They're not going to be able to kill the movement. Now, they're trying to impeach him. And everybody's saying, well, why are you trying to impeach him? It's so
13
he can't.
days.
Yeah. Well, so they can't run again. If he gets impeached,
Right.
he can't run again.
Right.
So they're trying to just destroy the guy.
Yep.
So let's take a look at Nancy Pelosi and see what she said. Or do you want to hear her?
I hate her.
There you go.
I don't know if the word good is a way to describe it, but because yesterday, the President of the United States incited an armed insurrection against America. The gleeful desecration of the U.S. Capitol, which is the temple of our American democracy, and the violence targeting Congress are horrors that will forever stain our nation's history, instigated by the President of the United States. That's why it's such a stain. In calling for this seditious act, the President has committed an unspeakable assault on our nation and our people. I join the Senate Democratic leader in calling on the Vice President to remove this President by immediately invoking the 25th Amendment. If the Vice President and the Cabinet do not act, the Congress may be prepared to move forward with impeachment. That is the overwhelming sentiment of my caucus. And
All right, there she goes. So they want an impeachment or do the 25th Amendment. 25th Amendment, I don't think is going to happen. They're going to have to impeach him.
You know what drives me nuts a little bit is that this moldy sandwich they're trying to sell the American people, that Trump has done somehow damage to America. Like, they keep trying this stupid thing where they say, like, he's a danger to the democracy, he's a danger to this country. All the man has done from my watch is beneficial things, policies that improve our position in global trade, that improve our position as a country, as border security, and improve our position in just basic overwhelming economic well-being of the families.
That's why they consider him being in danger.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Why are they trying to make it as if Trump is endangering this country when he's helping it?
Because the globalists, all they care about is unifying. The Great Reset, one of our shows that was took down, and the reason why we were banned for 2 weeks is because they're coming up with a Great Reset. The third quarter next week, they're going to blame it on Trump.
Yes.
The collapse of the world economy, and it's going to be a total disaster. They have to do that in the next 2 years. If they don't do it in the next 2 years, they're going to be in trouble. So the next 2 years, they're going to do everything they can to get this passed or get this done.
We've done a bunch of research, and actually by third quarter of this year, start to look for some real economic nonsense taking place. Like that, the predictions out there by the third quarter of 2021 is where they are going to complain that, currency devaluation is normal and all this, there's going to be, everything from inflation to a lack of paper currency, 100% digital currency that can ebb and flow. They can control how you and where you spend your money.
Yep.
And like the next step from that, I know we've talked about this before, but the next step is literally like a behavioral situation where you're like China, where you have something to where if the government doesn't like the way you're performing or the way you act, you can no longer go to the store, or you can no longer rent a car, you can no longer travel.
They'll turn your currency off. You just you take Alex Jones, he's off everything.
Yes.
They just took him off everything. They're going to do the same thing to Trump. They're going to take him off every platform. You won't be able to find him anywhere unless you're on Parler, maybe. That's it.
And even that, Parler has been under attack. It got hacked twice. It got hacked Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday they brought in some people. But I mean, this is a fight. This is not only digital warfare. This is everything that I hate to say that Alex Jones was talking about. This is an information war, and the problem is they don't want. They don't want the people to have the information, because if we truly had all the information, that's it for them. They're done. End game.
Right. We've been in a civil war for a while now. It's kind of a soft civil war, I would call it.
A soft one.
Yeah. So no armed struggle until a couple of days ago, or Antifa was been doing that too. But yeah. So we've been in a kind of a civil war for a while, but we don't know what side. I mean, for it really to touch off, a state had to succeed, or military had to pick a side, or so on and so forth. So we have to see what happens. But we have Pence touching elbows with Nancy Pelosi. What do you think about that, Bill?
I am so shocked because when Lynn Wood first started talking about it, I think it was like, I want to say New Year's Day. He said, "Do not trust Mike Pence. Mike Pence is not in our court. He is no one to be trusted." And I kind of thought, okay, this is where Lynn Wood is on the crazy side, because all I ever saw
He was
of
banned
Mike
too,
Pence.
by the way.
What's that?
He was banned too, by the way.
Oh yeah, Lynn Wood's done. I mean, they are purging people, and they will most likely purge us too. Who knows? But my point was that, like, I thought Lynn Wood was going down the crazy town road, and then all of a sudden I watched Pence betray everything I stood for, and smiled and smirked about it, and took his 30 pieces of silver and stuck it in his pocket.
Well, let's take a look at his 30 pieces of silver. He
Oh.
and elbowed Pelosi. Take a look.
Yeah, let's look. Dirtbag.
I wouldn't even touch
Look at
him.
him. Hey, Nancy.
Yeah, socialist, communist.
Hey.
Yeah.
Bread, lines, and beans. Absolutely.
Oh boy. I don't know.
And it speaks volumes. I was really looking into some videos of Trump from the 80s and way back when, before he even thought about becoming president, he always talked about it. And the thing is about Trump is that when he was a billionaire or approaching billionaire, he said, if this country ever goes off the rails, I will jump in because I love this country. And that's kind of what I loved about him. But he also said some crazy stuff too, where he said, when you're down and out, you see who's still standing by you, you realize what you got. And I think this is something that this country, he brought all of that to light, because as we lost our freedoms and our constitutional outlets to seek remedy, he showed us who's there and who's not. He did.
All right. Well, for Pence, we did hear word that Schumer and Pelosi tried to call him this morning.
Yeah.
They were on hold for 25 minutes, and then the secretary got back on the phone and goes, he's not coming to the phone. That's
what I heard. Pence would not take the call.
So then he went to the Senate floor, and then they summoned him. So he was taken off the floor of the Senate,
right,
just to talk to whoever. I guess it was Pelosi and Schumer as well.
Probably Pelosi, yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, that happened today. So we'll see what happens. But let's take a look at Matt Gaetz about doing obstructing to the electors. See what happened.
Yeah, he did a great job. Honestly, he did a great job.
Is that this morning, President Trump explicitly called for demonstrations and protests to be peaceful. He was far more, you can moan and groan, but he was far more explicit about his calls for peace than some of the BLM and left-wing rioters were this summer when we saw violence sweep across this nation. Now, we came here today to debate, to follow regular order, to offer an objection, to follow a process that is expressly contemplated in our Constitution. And for doing that, we got called a bunch of seditious traitors. Now, not since 1985 has a Republican president been sworn in, absent some Democrat effort, to object to the electors. But when we do it, it is the new violation of all norms. And when those things are said, people get angry. Now, I know there are many countries where political violence may be necessary, but America is not one such country. Madam Speaker, it was wrong when people vandalized and defaced your home. It was wrong when thugs went to Senator Hawley's home. And I don't know if the reports are true, but the Washington Times has just reported some pretty compelling evidence from a facial recognition company showing that some of the people who breached the Capitol today were not Trump supporters. They were masquerading as Trump supporters, and in fact, were members of the violent terrorist group Antifa. Now, we should seek to build America up, not tear her down and destroy her. And I am sure glad that at least for one day, I didn't hear my Democrat colleagues calling to defund the police. Now, I appreciate all the talk. Now, I appreciate all the talk of coming together, but let us not pretend that our colleagues on the left have been free of some anti-democratic impulses just because we signed on to legal briefs and asked courts to resolve disputes. There were some on the left who said that we should not even be seated in the body, that we ought to be prosecuted.
There he is. So he did a good job.
He did a great job. The people that elected Matt Gaetz in Florida should be really proud of that dude, because I watched him from soup to nuts take on every situation that addressed not only the just American basic freedoms, but the attack on Donald Trump that was unwarranted. He was one of the early guys that from the very first, I want to say it was probably, February and March of Trump's inaugural year, he was there saying, this is bullshit, that's bullshit, these guys are, right away he was on top of things. And like some of the stuff that he said, that like he can't believe that the Democrats aren't, screaming to defund the Capitol Police, because guess what? They saw firsthand what those guys do. And I am not like a fan of that. I have gotten a glimpse. Personally, I've been to Trump events in D.C., and I have watched them force families down Black Lives Matter Parkway. I have watched them do dastardly things. But the Capitol Police did a thing where I think they showed their colors, where it's like there's a line where they can no longer protect you. And I think that scared the Democrats. And now all of a sudden, there's probably a few Democrats out there that are pro-concealed carry after this event, because I watched the D.C. guys just open a gate and let the people in. And I mean, there's guys resigning. This guy, Stephen Sund, he was like the head of the Capitol Police for years. Yeah, he's resigned.
Well, they let him on purpose. I mean, the plan was supposedly, what conspiracy theory is going on, is have about 100 Antifa cause trouble.
Yeah.
The Capitol Police opened the barricade to let them in.
Yep.
And then when they got to the doors, the Antifa was supposed to crash the doors in.
Yeah.
And then blame it all on Trump supporters and try to kill the movement.
And also, they were trying to get the Trump supporters to follow them in. They were literally going, come on.
Exactly.
They were edging them into the building. And the one girl that got shot, a 14-year vet of the Air Force, that, she was unarmed and white, so apparently it's okay to shoot her. But,
let's take a look at that video.
You have that, right? You have that video?
Yeah, let's go ahead and play that. We're going to play it later. Let's play it right now, actually.
Okay.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
That guy knows he shot him.
Everyone get back!
Try to call some BS active shooter.
Look at that.
And that's it.
So, I mean, everybody should send that girl flowers. I mean, she died right there. Trump supporter. I mean, we should stand in the street as the funeral car goes by. I mean, it's...
Her name was Ashley Babbitt.
Yeah.
14-year vet of the Air Force. But basically a special security force. She actually, when people... dignitary status, even Nancy Pelosi types, when they fly overseas and do these photo ops on the bases, she was one of the ones that protected them. You know what I mean? So the nonsense that's created by the media, that these people that went inside were intent on destroying the Capitol and causing ruckus and all this stuff. She was one of the ones that was coming in later and basically took the brunt of, I guess, the force. I mean, honestly, she was unarmed. It looked to me like she propped herself up on the door, and that Capitol cop, he said, boom, she's getting it.
Yeah.
And put one towards her head. Yeah.
He should be prosecuted for killing somebody. I mean, normally, with a police officer, you're supposed to say, hey, stop right there. When she gets through the door, he should have took her into custody, not kill her. She was unarmed.
Yeah, she was unarmed, and there was stacks of furniture between her. So they pushed a bunch of the Capitol furniture up against the doors. Right. And they did that at almost every door. So it wasn't like, oh my God, this person's going to come in and kill me. It's like she stood up to see what was going on. They were like, bang, right for the head. So, here we are where the people that were killed, okay, were unarmed. And, this will probably go nowhere. I hate to say this, but if things were different, this would be people marching in the street, and some people would be upset and there would be things being burned. But because we are in the situation we are, nothing will happen. This woman's fiance is going to have to pay to have her buried and live this down. This is where we're at. I mean, the whole thing about entering the Capitol, I'm sure that everybody has a position on that, oh, she shouldn't have went in there. Well, there's a lot of things that shouldn't have happened in government. And honestly, I was talking about it today. If the Supreme Court took the case and handled their first jurisdiction designation, like in the Constitution, they are literally first jurisdiction for state on state, legislation, or adjudication. They were the ones who were supposed to say, you did not hold up your end of your legislative law, therefore this is null and void. They didn't do it, and now we're here. So I personally, maybe going out on a limb, I draw this back to the Supreme Court, because I know that Trumpers, if we went to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court ruled and said, nope, there's nothing to see here, we would have had to put our tail between our legs and go away. But we've been built up to this point where we thought we still had remedy and there was somewhere to go with this. Right. So, I mean, honestly, this protest, this storming of the Capitol would never have happened if the Supreme Court just took the damn case.
That's right. I agree with that. So we're going to show you some Antifa there at the rally was in the Capitol. They were inciting the riot, actually.
Absolutely.
What's going on?
This is John Sullivan.
What's going on, everybody? My name's John Sullivan. I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah. My group is Insurgents USA. We fucking about to burn this shit down. Fuck this shit. Anybody out here seeing that white militia guy shoot three kids? What is his name? Yeah. Fuck that guy. And I will tell you this shit is in Utah, a whole bunch of white militia came out there, formed against our group. We out there strapped. We out there ready to burn that shit down. We out there to defend our fucking self. We gotta defend ourselves now too. We do. Because power to the people. Power to the people. Power to the people. Damn right. We got fucking rip Trump out of that office right over there. Fucking pull him out that shit.
All right, so there he is. So let's take a look at his picture yesterday, or a couple days ago.
Yeah.
There he is in the Capitol.
Look, there he is.
Yeah.
Look at him inside.
Yeah. Following the crowd. He's a Trump supporter there.
Absolutely. He's all for the cause.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So again, 4 busloads of Antifa was loaded off.
Yeah.
They didn't want to. They started the riot, and unfortunately, the Trump people followed suit. Unfortunately.
Well, I think we were at such a boiling point.
Yeah.
Honestly, once from what I heard on the ground, a couple of my friends happened to be there, and they couldn't post videos. Once again, we talked about that before because I was there, and I tried to go live or post a video, and you can't. You have to record it on your phone and post it later. When they said the crowd So the crowd got that tweet where Mike Pence was like, "Nope, I'm not doing it." Like their stomachs dropped, and that's when everybody was like, "Here we go, we're going to the Capitol now."
Yeah, I mean, of course, we all saw BLM and Antifa get away with it. I mean,
Yep,
you know,
absolutely.
Of course, we can't get away with it.
No, and you know what's funny? The news media is basically saying that there wasn't enough force versus the Trump supporter, that they're saying that BLM would have been gunned down. But meanwhile, all summer long, we watched BLM get away with murder.
Yeah.
Literally murder.
Well,
David Dorn was killed and cities were burned. Yeah. And they're saying that, Trump supporters got away with murder, being able to do whatever they want.
Yeah, we have a video of what protest looks like with Antifa and BLM and Democrats. And then we have a CNN showing about what they think of the Trump supporters. Take a look.
Yep. I remember that Kavanaugh, which is pure evil.
These are live images, folks, at the doors of the Supreme Court, where you can see protesters have gathered. They are demanding that their voices be heard as they anticipate the person who will be a new Supreme Court Justice, Judge Brett Kavanaugh, to be sworn in here any moment. Bigger.
All right, so just trying to hear their voice. That's what CNN said, right? They're just there.
They're just beating on the doors of the Supreme Court. That was cool.
Yeah, they hear their voice, and then maybe we don't say "hey, hey, ho, ho" or something like that on our protest.
I think that's part of our problem as Trump people, is that we don't say "hey, hey, ho, ho," and somebody's got to go.
Right. So let's take a look at CNN talking about the protest the other day.
Yesterday.
This is treason. This is treason. This is insurrection.
It's an insurrection.
This is rebellion. Period. I have heard people looking at small protests in Portland, Oregon.
Look at that
unlawfulness. Tear gas.
Wow.
Beaten. Kidnapped.
All that.
And they said, no. Whatever you do to those protesters is okay, because we have to have law and order.
Look at that.
We have to have law and order. This is rebellion. It is treason. It is lawlessness. It is unacceptable.
Like instigation to me.
Oh yeah, so unbelievable. The BLM and the Antifa riots. You hear the building was smoke, the fire, burning statues down. You name it.
Dan Bongino was talking about it today. He said that they were allowed to have a 12-day siege on a courthouse. For 12 days. Right. They held people inside. They were burning everything they could find outside. They were pouring cement in the fire response valves. And that was all okay because BLM. Yeah. That was fine.
Yeah. And then, of course, Antifa, BLM can make a great American hats, but we can't burn their stuff.
No, you can't burn anything. They actually arrested
they did.
Enrique Taro. He is the leader of the Proud Boys, who everybody wants to say, the Proud Boys are this white supremacist association. Just do me a favor and Google Enrique Taro and find out who the leader of the Proud Boys is, and then you'll shut up for probably the rest of your life. Right. But anyway, they arrested him as soon as he touched ground in D.C.
Yeah.
Now, have I heard conspiracy theories that say that was for his protection, that they had him in custody while the riots were happening at the Capitol, and there were powers that be that did not want the Proud Boys implicated in the Capitol riot, because they're an easy target and they're an easy mark to put blame on them. So now the Enrique Taro and 12 other Proud Boys were incarcerated the entire time that was going on. Right. So you can't blame the Proud Boys for that one. Right. And
they would have.
So, I'm not sure if that's real or just a coincidence.
Yeah, well, they would have blamed him if he was out and about.
Oh, if he was anywhere near there, it would have been his fault.
Yeah, he was eating lunch while the riots was going on. They would still blame him.
Exactly. If he bought a soda at the machine across the street, it was his riot.
Exactly.
I mean, let's be honest. But to make these all stories start to come together, it seems to be like the recurring theme is that they needed the media and I always think the media is a monster, and I'm sorry, that's my personal opinion. They needed a new Charlottesville because Charlottesville wasn't working for them anymore. So many people had the audio and the video of Trump denouncing the white supremacists and whatever groups were at Charlottesville. And they played and they cut the tape and they tried to have it. This is the media's new Charlottesville to make Trump supporters look like animals, even though it was a very small portion. But this is what they're going to run over and over and over and over again, because you have guys like Van Jones and Don Lemon who are allowed to go on CNN and say that middle-aged white males are the most dangerous people in the country. And they're allowed to say that. Can you imagine for 1 second if you said that middle-aged black males are the most dangerous people in the country? You would be canceled and deleted from every form of media instantly, overnight, and it would never be anything for you to come back to. But they are allowed to say this because they have little tiny snippets where they can just lambast over and pretend that they have this, grandiose vision that white supremacy and everybody is out to get them. But the reality is that the patriots that were there were not, I've heard people say, oh, I saw a rebel flag. I saw a Confederate flag there. Therefore, everybody's racist. Right. No, you can't stop people from showing up to these events with Confederate flags. If they want to do that, that's on them. But this was about constitutional freedom and process. That's why we were there. This was not about racism. This was not about anything other than we were exhausted.
So like 200,000 people
telling us.
Yeah, 200,000 people, maybe 1 or 2 people had a Confederate flag. They're going to blame.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They take that snippet, but CNN ad nauseum will show this guy who brought an old tattered flag with him, and he's waving it around, and they go, yep, there they are, the racists. They were all racist. So the narrative behind this is to demonize once again because they latched onto something with Charlottesville, and this is their second Charlottesville that's going to give them fuel to just make Trump supporters into these maniacs. Right. Meanwhile, we're just freedom-loving, USA-loving nationalists, which all of a sudden has become terrible to love your country. Right. But here we are defending.
You gotta be a globalist, Bill.
No, you don't. No. See, I get it. I see what they're doing, but I also see that there are generations of people that are not going to stand for it. Mm-hmm. But if they demonize us, like I said, I'll call myself middle-aged. If they're going to demonize me for fighting for the next generation's freedom, what are they going to do to the next generation who they've already seen me be demonized? They're going to lose their fight. So it's kind of like our obligation to not give up at this point. I hate to say that, but I have nothing to lose. And that's what the Boogaloo represents, when you have nothing left to lose. And here we are. We're wearing Hawaiian shirts, and we're out here like, what do you got? Right. I mean, this is where we're at as a country. We're teetering on the edge of failure.
We are. I mean, it's only going to get worse, I'm afraid. We're going to be the opposition going forward if we were able to broadcast. So we have Don Jr. I was going to something else. Don Jr. Before the rally. Let's take a look and see what was going on.
All right.
Just awesome patriots that are sick of the bullshit. So thank you all for that. It's actually hard to believe. Unfortunately, there's a road in between the main crowd and then the masses. Love to see them get in closer because it'd be pretty awesome. But this is pretty incredible. T-minus a couple of seconds here, guys. So check it out. Tune in. We'll do live streaming. It's gonna be good. Shout out Mark Meadows, an actual fighter, one of the few, a real fighter. Thank you, Mark. Kimberly.
Yes, have the courage to do the right thing. Fight.
All right, so and then a few months later, they did fight actually.
Yeah.
So all of them are banned from pretty much all social media. And he can go to Trump Twitter page, but he can't tweet anything.
He can't tweet anything. He can't upload any videos. Neither can Don Jr. He's banned from Instagram. He's banned from just about everything. I mean,
Facebook,
honestly, I can't imagine us being in a worse position to where there are people that are in public office who are not allowed to speak. This is like a first for Twitter and Facebook to put themselves out there and silence a sitting president. It blows my mind that here we are in this place where there's no going back for Twitter and Facebook. I think they know that now, that they've chosen a side, that they're like an island now.
Right.
If Donald Trump or listen, Donald Trump Jr. is not going anywhere, and neither is Ivanka. Like, the political stage for them is huge. Honestly, I mean, yeah. I don't know if it's 2024 or beyond, but there is no reason for them not to dive into politics again because of the intelligence that they have and the support that they could probably get.
Right. So articles of impeachment is being drawn up by the House.
Yeah.
I mean, if they go for a vote, that's going to happen, and it's going to go to the Senate, where who knows what's going to happen there.
Oh, the Senate, they are spineless. Like, what I saw from the Senate was everybody's like, yeah, we're going to contest the results because everybody, we saw all the fraud too, and we're your elected senators. And when it came time to produce, even freaking Rand Paul was like, oh, I don't want to be that guy. I mean, they are spineless, yellow-bellied nothings. And honestly, they should all be primaried. And every time that they come up, we need to literally get this old blood out.
Oh, yeah.
We have to make the term limits. We keep calling for term limits for these assholes. And the only way to make term limits is to not reelect these clowns. And we keep doing it. They're not Republicans. They're not on our side. We need to get rid of them.
Yeah. Get rid of McConnell. Get rid of all the ones that rhinos are in there.
Oh, it's terrible. Mitt Romney? How the hell is he still?
Yeah, he should have been gone a long time ago. I mean, of course, he just got reelected
a
couple years ago, but still, I didn't get rid of him totally.
Who the hell in Utah thought he was a good pick?
He was a Mormon.
Damn you,
I mean,
Utah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Who knows?
But
nothing
anyway,
against Mormons, by the way.
No, nothing against Mormons. Honestly, I think Romney's a fake Mormon anyway. I mean, I don't know what they're voting for, but here we go. So my point in all of this, to even circle around, is that it's us. It's us that elects these people.
Right.
I can't help that people elect Pelosi over and over and over again, and they elect her as Speaker of the House over and over and over again, even though the streets are lined with human feces in her town and the homeless rate is freaking through the roof, and it's a piece of crap town now. But anyway, we have control over whether they have term limits. So everybody that's crying for term limits for these people, it's on us.
Yes, definitely it's on us. All right, well, that's the show tonight. We went a little bit over, but appreciate all the subscribers we have. Of course,
Yes.
we were banned for 2 weeks, so we couldn't get any more. But
Yeah, who knows what happens this week? We'll see.
I mean, I don't think we played anything that we could be banned, but who knows? I mean, we can play anything that can be banned, right?
Yeah, it's really the new normal is that you have to be vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not vanilla, then you're not acceptable.
Well, I was debating where to continue winning my Make America
Your
Great
MAGA
Again hat, the MAGA hat, but I think I'm going to continue wearing it actually.
Hey, let's see how far it goes,
Yeah.
because 2021, if Biden is really on our side, which he tries to pretend that he is, he wants to mend fences with us.
No.
He wants Trump supporters to be on his side. Let's see what he's got in his tank, because I'm ready for some concession here. I want some real deal stuff. Let's see if he's got it.
Yeah, he's going to start throwing some money at you.
Yeah, he can throw all the money that he wants in the world. I'm not waiting in line for it. I'm not waiting in line for toilet paper. I'm not waiting in line for beans. He can screw himself when it comes to all that. I'm not waiting. So I love freedom.
Man.
I think
Okay.
we are the freedom party. And you know what? I hate to say this. If Trump is gone and it's up to us, which it appears to be, we have to be like the Democrats were. We have to go to every Biden event and scream fraud, fake president at every event. And we have to do that because that's what the Democrats did to our president. So guess what? Biden deserves it. He's a sham, a fraud, and he stole this.
Yeah, we're going to give him you know what. So we'll
Hell
see
yeah.
what. So thanks for joining us and good night.
Good night, everyone.